Welcome to the Truly Bedrock Rundown. It's me, your friendly neighbourhood shepherd Tamer, checking in for this week's rundown. Credit to our full-time John Wayne, Tycroft102, for writing this week's recap. We would like to give a big thanks to Foxy No-Tail for taking time out of his busy schedule to make us a channel logo, and we absolutely love it. We hope you do too. Well, Mum, look at me now. I'm all professional. This week we're going to start with Zloy. First and foremost, even though he is ill, he still makes time to get to that computer for some TB love. That commitment is real with this one. He begins work on the comment library, and yes Zloy, we want a tutorial on the design for your shelves. And after Zloy finished submitting his comment, Foxy wasted no time in submitting his comment into the library as well. Zloy, Slack and Silent decided they wanted a beacon, and they wanted it as soon as possible. After a minor setback, many deaths to wither skeletons and a very bad pun, the group finally got a very crude but working beacon factory built. And now moving on to Silent, who had a very busy week this time around, starting with the episode he uploaded literally 1 hour after our cutoff time. So if you could refrain from uploading on a Tuesday, that would be great, because then you don't get cut off. Well, on this first episode, Silent experienced one of the saddest deaths in Minecraft. When asked about it on Discord, all the pigmen said was, Bedrock happened. After taking a break from wither hunting and fighting, Silent got to work building the beacon factory for Zloy and Slack. They were able to get 3 nether stars to split amongst each other. After losing his good items in his latest death, Silent decided to conquer the end without killing the dragon. You were about 2 episodes later than your previous work. Silent, why the need to slack? Get it? No? Okay, I'll stop. After a few hours of End City raiding, Silent takes it upon himself to defeat 2 ender dragons at the same time. He made up for it, we guess. And finally, after many deaths and frustration, Silent managed to get rid of the end of the dragons. And then Silent went ahead and opened the first end loot shop, making it the first official shop on the realm, which we're not sure how that works because none of them really have any diamonds. But anyway, to wrap up his second week of Truly Bedrock, Silent begins work on his guardian farm. That brings us to Slack, one of, if not the only member with a channeling trident. Keep that in mind, it's very important. Slack drew the attention of Zloy because of the channeling trident, and after gathering some creepers and learning the hard way that boats on lead can launch out of nowhere, they decide to torpedo a skeleton towards Groover, which goes as smoothly as it sounds. After that, along with Silent, decide to give the first set of doomed skulls during his second episode of the week. Slack starts off by crafting a beacon using the nether star he got from the beacon factory to supply his iron needs. Along with Prowl, Slack sets up a villager breeder and an iron golem farm, which is almost fatal for Prowl. Now that sort of wraps up where the Undead Alliance come into this. At least we hope, because if Silent uploads something else, we just haven't got the time. So next up on our list is Prowl, who started off this week with a caving Q&A time-lapse. Prowl also starts designing his old-schooled wheat farm, which can really crank out that wheat. Prowl lets Silent kill half of his cows. Does that mean that everything is balanced as all things should be? During his second episode of the week, he finishes decorating the wheat farm. Prowl then goes on to begin construction of his base area. After that, Prowl goes on to help to get an iron farm. We don't know about you guys, but we enjoyed watching Prowl push villagers around. Our next member to cover is Foxy No-Tail, who after taking care of a creeper in his chicken farm, works on making a very lovely jetty. He was going to work on a bar for Zloy's Home of the Unfortunate, but he got sidetracked with a Guardian Temple raid. But before we get to that, we would like to play a clip by Foxy explaining why the members are AFK fishing and why viewers shouldn't hate.
Before I go on though, I just want to say, I had a comment that I just read before logging back in again that said, somebody basically said that this entire series is ruined now because we've done AFK fishing. And I want to ask the question, what's the problem with AFK fishing? Why is AFK fishing an issue? At the end of the day, we're not doing anything wrong. We're using a game mechanic to get items from fishing, which is what... It's not like we're putting fake loot tables in the game. You can get those items from fishing. Now, you can go AFK at an iron farm and get tons of iron, or you can go AFK at a slime farm and get tons of slime, or you can go AFK at a witch farm and get loads of witch drops. So what's the difference? It's not like we're doing anything different going AFK fishing other than, because this is Bedrock Edition, yes, we're using an auto clicker to click for us, but on Java Edition, you don't need to use an auto clicker, you just set something up. And I believe with Silent's new design, with this thing, I don't think you even need an auto clicker for that. So we're not cheating. We're not doing anything wrong. If that ruins the game for you, then that's a little bit sad, really, isn't it? Everyone plays the game differently. And don't forget, guys, we're on this desert island. We've got hardly any resources anywhere near us. And we're all YouTubers with our own series, with our own lives, with other things going on. We're not full-time at this. We don't have all the time in the world to go off and do all the things in the game. This is going to be a short season, but we want to get geared up, guys. We want to get geared up so we can do fun things, which we're going to be doing in a minute. So, yeah, if anyone else has got an issue with AFK fishing, then I'm really sorry, but we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one.
We can agree more. And now to move on to Foxy's temple raid, which went pretty smoothly. Foxy then spends around 20 minutes looking for his jungle island without prevail, so Foxy decides to go on a nether raid, where Foxy gets slain by a pigman. Silent, don't do that. After returning to the overworld, Foxy sets up a simple base area. After learning the location of his island from Zloy, Foxy then discovers a book and map, which has something to do with a kidnapped sheep. We're not 100% sure. Moving on to Rogue Fox, the guy who may or may not have been blown up along with Zloy's comment library by a sudden creeper attack. We won't talk about it. All materials were recovered, and to pour a little salt into Zloy's wounds, Rogue messes up his submitted comment after finishing his comment book. Rogue installs a secret rotating storage system into his hotel room. Rogue spends his 4th episode end raiding. Afterwards, Rogue introduces us to his cat Bucky, who is named after his real cat. He then installs a redstone potion brewer into the TB Tavern. Speaking of that comment library, Zloy, you seem to be everywhere. We have TNC Cuban, who felt slightly fancy this week and gave us a back-to-back upload of Truly Bedrock. He starts off his 3rd episode with a time-lapse of him gathering sand, and a lot of it. Cuban then uses the sand to begin connecting his and DB's islands. After that, he improves on his zombie farm that he definitely didn't mess up. We'll stop talking about it, we're sure. Turning it into a one-hit drown farm, and of course Cuban had to show off his diamond armor, super fancy, to Zloy and Rogue, confirming that he in fact is the first diamond armor owner on Truly Bedrock. After showing off his wealth and submitting a comment into the comment library, well, he also tried to do it but couldn't work it out. Thanks again, Zloy, for helping out there. Cuban pranks an AFK Prowl by launching him up to build height. I hope Prowl remembered his parachute. Next up is my Brit Bro himself, DB8035, the local turtle whisperer. DB starts off his video by making a very simple but effective humane turtle farm, which produces enough scoots for every member. DB then decides to set up a surprise in his room for any curious person who walks in there uninvited. And last but not least, we have Groover Guy, the king of Birch. He wastes no time in designing a way to leave. Can you blame the guy? Living on an island can be pretty stressful. His means of transport is a very large turtle, which is made of lots of birch, and it looks absolutely incredible. You could say I was shell-shocked. Get it? No, that one didn't work either. Okay, on that note, we end our 2nd episode of Truly Bedrock Rundown. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you, and good night.